The story of this hymn, it starts back in the mid-1700s. At this time, if you know in world history, England was just everywhere. They were laying claim to everything. They're all the way over in India, laying claim to India. They're over here in America, laying claim to this. Right after, just a few years after this story, we had to fight the whole Revolutionary War to get the English out of here, right? They're all over the place. And of course, back home in Scotland, they claimed that as their own. At the time, it was King Edward who was the king. His family, his line had been reigning for a few generations. But there was a man named Charles Edward Stuart. Charles Edward Stuart of the House Stuart. You see, his family used to be the kings of England. But a few generations ago, King Edward, his family took it from them, and now they were reigning. So at this time, in the mid-1700s, Charles Edward Stuart, he's there, and he sees that the English army is away on the mainland of Europe. And he sees opportunity in that, to take back his throne for his house, for his family, for himself. And so in order to do this, he goes to the Scottish people. He wants to reclaim the throne. He goes to the Scottish people. And the thing you got to know about Charles is he's got a nickname in history. This is so funny when I was doing the research. His nickname is Bonnie Prince Charlie. Bonnie Prince Charlie. Bonnie Prince Charlie is exactly how he sounds. He was so slick and charming and charismatic and just handsome. That's how he got that nickname. And he was kind of a manipulative guy. So he goes to the Scottish and he goes, I can manipulate the Scots to do what I want. He goes to them and says, hey, you guys want your freedom from the English, right? Of course, the Scottish people are like, well, yeah, we do. We want to throw off the oppression of the English. We want our freedom. We want to finally be rid of them. Yeah, you want your freedom. Well, I'm your guy. I'm your guy. You put your army behind me, and we're going to win your freedom. So they said, okay. I mean, they were legit. They wanted this. So they raised an army and started a rebellion. While the main English army is away, they said, we can now free Scotland. And they did really well. Like, the rebellion went pretty well. They started gaining territory. They started sacking fortresses. They made it all the way to Edinburgh. They made it to Edinburgh, which is spelled Edinburgh. But it's not pronounced that way because that's not how they pronounce it. I had to learn that on the internet, but I've never been there. They made it all the way to Edinburgh, and they're like, this is fantastic. We've got freedom for all of Scotland, and they proclaimed Bonnie Prince Charlie as the King of Scotland. Great. One problem, though. The English army is coming back. They're returning. So they get together, and they're all debating, what do we do with that? What do we do? What do we think they're going to do? Are they going to attack us? How do we defend against it? Are they just going to leave us alone? Can we do some diplomatic stuff? Is it all good? In the middle of this debate going back and forth, Bonnie Prince Charlie, who was very charismatic and very handsome and very slick and very manipulative, he doesn't want to be the King of Scotland. He doesn't tell them this, but he doesn't want to be the King of Scotland. He wanted to be the King of England. So he goes to his leaders, he goes to the Scottish people, and he says, what we do is we attack them. We invade them before they have a chance to do anything, before the English army comes back. The Scottish people are like, I don't know about that. Like, we're trying to get freedom for Scotland. We're not trying to invade England. That seems really dangerous and really stupid. So Bonnie Prince Charlie goes, no, you don't understand. You see, I know that there are English sympathizers there. They sympathize with our cause. And when we come in and invade, those sympathizers are going to join our cause. The Scottish are like, oh, okay. And he goes, no, you don't understand too. I made an alliance with France. And France is going to bring their army to join us and fight with us. They were convinced. This is an opportunity to throw off the problem of the English, and maybe we can be free once and for all, solve this problem once and for all. And so they invade. They did well in their invasion for a little while. They took some territory, but as they were taking territory, none of the English sympathizers came up. There were no English sympathizers. In fact, the English were fighting pretty hard against this invasion. But they kept going, and they kept going because the French army's coming. The French army's going to fight with us. They're on their way. And things were getting worse, and things were getting harder, and things were getting more desperate. And at the most desperate moment, they discovered that, no, the French army is not coming. The French army was never coming, just like there were never any English sympathizers. Bonnie Prince Charlie had lied about it all. It was all a lie. They realized, we are going to lose, and we're going to lose hard. And so they retreated. They retreated back to Scotland. Never mind, guys, but it was too late. The English army returned from the mainland, and the response was harsh. Most of the royalty, the Scottish leadership, they did not make it out alive. But one man did. There was one man who made it out. who survived all of this. He was one of the leaders. He wasn't a soldier himself, but he was a part of the leadership of this movement of getting the Scottish together. Is a man named John Francis Wade. And he escaped to France. And he spent the rest of his life living in exile in France, teaching music. And there was this moment where he sits down and he writes this song. He just pours his heart and his soul into this song about the birth of Christ. He writes this Christmas carol, "O come all ye faithful." And the reason I bring up all that backstory is because when you know the backstory of this man, John Francis Wade, when you know what he came from, the lyrics of "O come all ye faithful" are really interesting. When you look at this song, it is a powerful song. It is a triumphant song. It is a celebratory song. It is a victorious song. It's a Christmas carol, but it's not just about a baby in a manger. It's about a king. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. That's not just a 7-pound, 9-ounce baby. That is the Lord, this title of authority, this title of power. He sat down and he wrote a song about a king who was worthy to follow, about a real king and a real victory, and someone who was worthy to follow. Not just someone with a title, although Jesus did have a title. Not just someone with a bloodline, although Jesus did have a bloodline. Not just someone with a claim, not just someone with an army, not just someone who was charismatic, but a real king.